Here are the video solutions for City and Guilds Sample Paper 1 Level 2 Functional Skills Maths. This is section 1, the non-calculator section. So let's take a look at question number 1. What is 2/3 as a percentage? Well, this is just a value you need to know. 2/3, well, 1/3 is 33.3 recurring percent. So 2/3 is 66.6 recurring percent. So we need to give our answer to 2 decimal places, so therefore we're interested in the value of the 3rd decimal place. Anything beyond that we can ignore. And if this number here is 5 or greater, which it is, then the column to the left will move up by 1. So this 6 here will become a 7, so 66.67%. Question number 2, what is 14% of 200? Well, 14% of 100 is 14. So therefore 14% of 200 is going to be 14 multiplied by 2, and 14 plus 14 is of course 28, so the answer is 28. Question 3, what I will do to begin with is turn these fractions into improper fractions. So 2.5 is how many halves? Well, it's 2 times 2 plus 1. 2 2s are 4 plus 1 is 5, so that is 5 halves. And 3 3/4, how many quarters is that? Well, that is 3 times 4 plus the 3. 3 4s are 12, plus 3 is 15. But we can't add halves and quarters because the numbers on the bottom are different. But I can change halves into quarters. All I've done is multiplied the number on the bottom by 2. So for an equivalent fraction, I'm going to multiply the number on the top by 2 as well. So 5 halves is the same as 10 quarters. So I can now do 10 quarters plus 15 quarters, which is 25 quarters. But normally we would give a final answer as a mixed number rather than an improper fraction. Remember that this line of a fraction means divide, so what is 25 divided by 4? Well, how many 4s go into 25? Well, 4 goes into 25 6 times with the remainder of 1, so that is 6 1/4, which is answer C. Question number 4, what is 75 as a fraction of 125? Well, it's simply 75 over 125, but we can simplify the fraction. Both numbers are divisible by 5. How many 5s go into 75 though? 7 divided by 5 is 1, remainder 2. 25 divided by 5 is 5, so that simplifies to a 15. And what is 125 divided by 5? 1 divided by 5, it doesn't go, move the 1 across. 12 divided by 5 is 2 with a remainder of 2. 25 divided by 5 is 5. So I've simplified it to 15 25ths, but I've still got numbers divisible by 5. 15 divided by 5 is 3. 25 divided by 5 is 5. So as a fraction in its simplest form, it is 3/5. Question number 5, we're subtracting sevenths from halves, but we can't add or subtract fractions when the numbers on the bottom are different. So what I need to do is fiddle them so that they both have the same number on the bottom. So what I'm going to do is go through the 7 times table until I find the first number that can be divided by 2. Well, 7 can't be divided by 2. 14 can be divided by 2. So I'm going to turn both of these into equivalent fractions out of 14. To turn a 7 into a 14, I'm doubling it, so I need to double the 2 for an equivalent fraction, so that is 4/14. To turn a 2 into a 14, I'm multiplying by 7, so I need to multiply the top by 7, and 1 times 7 is 7. So the question is now 7/14, take away 4/14, so the answer is simply 3/14. Question number 6 is all about BIDMAS, the order of operations. Now I have brackets, so I need to sort out the brackets first. But inside the brackets I have multiplication and adding. I need to do the multiplying first. So 2 times 6 is 12. So the question is now 8 plus 12 squared. 8 plus 12, again we do in the brackets before we do anything else. 8 plus 12 is 20, so the question is now 20 squared. Now 20 squared is 20 multiplied by 20. Well, 2 times 2 is 4. Let's put back those 2 zeros, so the answer is 400. Question number 17, or 3AB means 3 times by A times by B. So this is 3 times 5 times by 6. You can do the multiplying in any order. I would do the hard bit first. 5 6s are 30, so it's 3 times 30, or 3 times 3 is 9. Put the 0 back in, so the final answer is 90. Question number 8. We know that angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So if I subtract these values from 180, then I've got A. 180 minus the 80, makes sense to do that first, is 100. 100 degrees take away 30 degrees is 70 degrees. So A is 70 degrees. Question number 9 is another question on BIDMAS. So what we have here is we have adding and dividing. We need to do the dividing first. 1500 divided by 300, that is the same as 150 divided by 30, which is the same as 15 divided by 3, which is 5. So the question is now 900 plus 5, so 905. Question number 10 is just some fairly nasty subtraction. So 147.206. Make sure that you've got the decimal points lined up correctly. And if you've got them lined up, then all your other numbers will fall neatly into place. So the 9, in other words, needs to be under the 4, not under the 1. 6 minus 8 can't be done, so we need to borrow, but this column is empty, so this 2 becomes a 1. This 0 becomes 10, which will reduce to a 9, so that the 6 becomes a 16. 16 minus 8 is 8. Sorry, probably should have put the decimal point in the answer box before now as well. 9 minus 3 is 6. 1 minus 4 can't be done, so 7 becomes 6, 1 becomes 11. 11 minus 4 is 7. 6 take away 5 is 1. 4 minus 9 can't be done, so 1 will become a 0. 4 becomes 14. 14 minus 9 is 5. So the answer is 51.768. Okay, question number 11. A car can travel 480 miles on a full tank. The tank holds 60 litres. So full tank is 60 litres. There's only 15 litres left in the tank. So what fraction of the tank is left? Well, it's 15 out of 60 litres. We can divide these numbers. We can simplify the fraction by dividing the top and bottom by 5. 15 divided by 5 is 3. 60 divided by 5 is 12. And we can simplify the fraction again. We can divide both numbers by 3 this time. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So the tank is a quarter full, so it can do a quarter of 480 miles. So what is 480 divided by 4? 4 divided by 4 is 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2. 0 divided by 4 is 0. So it can do 120 miles. Question number 12. The probability that a salesperson will get an order from a visit to a customer is 1/4. She has 2 visits. So what is the probability that she will get orders from both visits this morning? So it's got to be less likely than 1/4. So the question is, do we add or do we multiply the fractions? Well, hopefully you know that we multiply the fractions, because if we multiply them, then the fraction gets smaller. 1 times 1 is 1. 4 times 4 is 16, so that is 1/16. If we add the fractions, we get 2/4, which is 1/2. So that wouldn't make sense, because that would say the probability is greater for getting both sales rather than just getting one sale. Right, question number 13. We want to work out the total change. So what I'm going to do is put the positive numbers first. So plus 4 plus 2 minus 1 minus 1 minus 3. Well, 4 plus 2 is 6. So it's 6 minus 1 minus 1 minus 3. 6 minus 1 is 5. Minus 1 minus 3. 5 minus 1 is 4. Minus 3. 4 minus 3 is 1. And that is positive 1, not negative 1. So that means 1 more. Question number 14. A manager wants to give a pay rise to everyone who is paid less than the average salary, and the average is going to be the median. So what we need to do is put these in ascending order first of all, and then find the middle number. So the lowest is 15.5, the next is 16, then it's 18.5, then 20, then 22, then 3 23s, and then the highest is 36. So to find the median, I'm going to chop one off the left and the right. I'm going to repeat that process again. I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to do it one more time. So the median is 22. So who is paid less than 22? Well, it's AJ, it's MT, it's RD, and it's JR. So 4 of them. And finally, question number 15. So the scale is 1 to 25,000. So what it means is the reality is 25,000 times greater than what is shown on the map. So if the map shows 6 centimeters, in real life that is 6 times 25,000 centimeters. Well, first of all, what is 25 times 6? 5 6s are 30, 0 carry 3, 2 6s are 12, plus 3 is 150. So 6 times 25,000 is 150,000. Now that is centimeters. Now I'm going to convert this into meters by dividing by 100, because there are 100 centimeters in the meter. Dividing this number by 100 is dead easy, just chop off 2 zeros, that is 1,500 meters. And we want to convert meters into kilometers, and there are 1,000 meters in a kilometer, so we need to divide this by 1,000. And if you struggle with this, write 1,500 as 1,500.0. When we're dividing by 1,000, we're going to move the decimal point 3 positions, so 1, 2, 3. So the answer is 1.5 kilometers. Here are the video solutions to City and Guild's Functional Skills Maths Level 2. This is sample paper 1, and this is section 2, which is the calculator part. So let's take a look at question number 1. No calculator is going to help you massively, well, at all here. Which point is at 3, 4? So just remember, when we're doing coordinates, it's along the corridor and up the steps. So horizontal, then vertical. So we're going across to 3 and then up to 4. So that is point B. Okay, so question number 2. We need to convert litres into gallons, 10 litres into gallons. Well, we can see that if we're going from gallons to litres, we are multiplying by 4.546. So therefore, if we're going from litres into gallons, we must do the opposite, which is divide by 4.546. So if we're converting 10 litres into gallons, then it's going to be 10 divided by 4.546, and that comes to 2.1997. So we can round that to 1 decimal place, and we say that that is approximately, and this is a 9, so that will round the 2.1 to a 2.2, and that is answer B. What is the mode of these numbers? Now the mode, remember, is the most common or the most frequently occurring value. So we can see 155 appears twice, so that's twice. 125 appears 1, 2, 3, 4 times. 145 just appears once, so that's not the mode. Okay, 155 is not the mode either. 90 just appears, that appears twice, not the mode. 150 only once, sorry, 90, oh no, sorry, that's 95, not 90. 95 only appears once, not the mode. 100 appears once, not the mode. So we can see that it's 125 is the mode because it appears 4 times, which is more than any other number. Okay, so for this question, let's just take a look at these numbers. So 0.1013, 0.0827, 0.0095. Make sure that you write them so the decimal points are in line, and if they're in line, everything else is in line. So if we're looking at the units, it's all 0, so we can't tell them apart here. But if we look in the tenths column, we've got a 1, a 0, and a 0. 1 is bigger than 0, so this is the biggest number. Looking at these two numbers here, we've got a 0 in the units, a 0 in the tenths, but in the hundredths we've got an 8 and a 0. 8 is bigger than 0, so this one here is the smallest, and this is the one in the middle, so it should be 0.0095. Yes, it does say increasing order, so 0.095, 0.0827, and 0.1013. And as we can see, that is option D. Question number 5. So the surface area of a sphere is 4 pi r squared, so that is 4 times by pi, which is 3.142, times by the radius, which is 3 times by 3, and that comes to 113.112. As we can see, that is answer C if we're rounding to the nearest whole number. Okay, so a man is going to New York for work. He wants to book a hotel online. A friend says, remember, the booking website will show the price in dollars. It will cost more pounds than the price shown because of the exchange rate. So what he's saying is that the pounds number is bigger than the dollar number, but the man thinks it's the other way around. Well, the man is correct because we can see that the pound number is smaller than the dollar number. 1 is less than 1.24. So the man is correct. Since 1 is less than 1.24. That will be fine. Okay, so question 7, a newspaper report says that a company made £700,000 profit last year, and that was 12% more than the year before. So something was increased by 12%, and it gave us £700,000. Now, if you're increasing something by 12%, what do? The multiplier for 12% is 0.12, but when you want to increase by 12%, we add 1 to that number, which is 1.12. So something, let's call it, just give it a letter, y multiplied by 1.12 gave us £700,000. So therefore, the original value, which I said is y, is 700,000 divided by 1.12, and that comes to £625,000. Quite a tricky one, just rearranging it. It's definitely the hardest question so far. And if you're not clear on the multipliers, when you 12% is 0.12, when you're calculating 12% of an amount, it's the decimal equivalent of 12%. In other words, it's 12 divided by 100. That's how you get this number here, and then just add 1 to it. And then we're just working the question backwards. Quite a tricky one, that. Okay, question number 8. So how much income tax will she pay for the year? So we know that the caterer earns 1,375 per month. So per year it's going to be 1,375 multiplied by 12, and that comes to a total of 16,500. So now we're going to use this formula here for income tax. So T is 0.2 y 16,500 minus the personal allowance, which was 11,850. So using BIDMAS, we're going to do the brackets first. So the income tax is 0.2, and in brackets that comes to 4,650. And if you don't understand what this means, that just means 0.2 multiplied by 4,650, which is £930. Okay, question 9. A worker has to set a machine to cut the shape from a piece of metal. What is the area of the shape? So what we've got here is a rectangle and a triangle. So the area of the rectangle, that is simply 8 multiplied by 2.5, which is 20 square centimetres. And for the triangle, it's base times height divided by 2. Now, what is this distance here? Well, if it's 8 from here to here, and 2 on this side and 2 on that side, then this side is 8, take away 2, take away that 2, so that is 4 centimetres. So the base is 4, the height is 3, we're dividing it by 2, and that is 6 square centimetres. So therefore the total area is 20 plus 6, which is 26 square centimetres. Question number 10. Okay, so what we need to do here is work out the mean. So the average before was 12. So what I'm going to do is, we've got 26 customers who ordered between 1 and 10. They might all have ordered 1, they might all have ordered 10, we'll never know. So our best estimate, so we're working at an estimated mean, is that they all ordered halfway between 1 and 10. Now halfway between 1 and 10 is not 5, halfway between 0 and 10 is 5, halfway between 1 and 10 is 5.5. So to get there, just add the two numbers. 1 plus 10 is 11. 11 divided by 2 is 5.5. So here we're working out the midpoints. So if this is 5.5, this is going to be 15.5, 25.5, 35.5, and it doesn't really matter for the last two because there were no orders anyway. So what we're saying here is that 26 customers ordered, we're guessing, 5.5 photos each. So the total that they bought is 26 multiplied by 5.5. Now some people, when they're working out the estimated, using a grouped frequency table to work out an estimated mean, they know to do midpoint, and here frequency times midpoint. That's great. It does help if you understand why. So we're saying 26 customers bought, we can only assume 5.5 photos each, so that is a total of 26 times 5.5, which is 143. And if we do the same multiplication on these rows here, 14 times 15.5 is 217, 6 times 25.5 is 153, and 4 times 35.5 is 142. So do we know how many customers there are in total? We do not. So first of all, we need to add these numbers together, and that is a total of 50 customers. And how many photographs were bought in total? That is 655. So we are now working out the average, or the estimated mean, which is 655 divided by 50, and that is 13.1 photos per customer. So let's have a look at the context of the question. So the price has been increased and the average has actually gone up from 12 to 13.1. So does the price increase seem to have had an effect? Well, you could say yes, it has had an effect, because the mean has changed from 12 to 13.1, but that doesn't really make sense, that if you put the price, customers would be attracted by prices going up. But you could say that would be fine. I would say no, because you would expect the price increase to go, if the price went up, you'd expect perhaps the number of customers to go down. So I would put in an explanation, despite a price increase, the number of customers, or the number of photos ordered, or probably the mean number of photos ordered, has not gone down. There we go. And that will be fine. Like I say, you could say it has affected because it's gone up. That would be fine too. Okay, question number 11. So the mechanic works 7.5 hours from Monday to Saturday. So Monday to Friday is the normal rate. So £10.80 multiplied by 7.5, which is 7.5, and that Monday to Friday, that's 5 days. And that comes to a total of £405. Now also on the Saturday is £10.80 times by 7.5 hours, but it's 1.25 times the normal rate, so it increasing that by that extra quarter, so multiplying by 1.25, and that will give us 101.25. So now all we need to do is add these two values together, and we get a total of £506 and 25p. There we go. So just stick that in the answer box and you're done. Use an approximation to check your answer. Okay, well, we could call £10.80, we could just call that £10 times by 7 times by 5. 7 times 5 is 35, times 10 is 350. And then we've got, we'll call that 10 times by 7. Let's just call that 1 as well. 10 times 7 is 70. Add them together, 420. Well, it's not massively satisfactory, but we're not a million miles away, so that's probably going to be fine. Okay, so question number 12. So she gets £8.50 per week more. Does that cover her petrol cost? So she is, her new job is 6 miles further from her house. So therefore, if she's going there and back, that's going to be a 12-mile journey, 5 days a week. So 5 times 12 miles, that is 60 miles. and we know that it's 8.5 miles per litre. So how many 8.5 miles are in 60? Or 60 divided by 8.5 is a fairly nasty number. It's 7.0588. It continues, and this is the number of litres. So if petrol is £1.26 per litre, if 1 litre is £1.26, then 7.0588 litres is going to be £1.26 multiplied by 7.0588. This value is currently sitting on my calculator, so I don't need to delete it and round it. I'll just keep it exact. Multiply that by £1.26, and I get a total of approximately £8.89. And she's got a job that was £8.50 a week more, but she's paying £8.89 in petrol. So the decision is no. Will the woman be better off? No. And you can say because the £8.50 won't cover the £8.89 fuel costs. So question 13, we need to work out what the best option is. So we know that he's travelling to Hull 4 days per week for 26 weeks. So that is 4 times 26 journeys. Okay, I'll probably do the calculations here so I'm not scrolling up and down the whole time. So 4 times by 26, that is 104 days. So he could get the day return. He's definitely not travelling off peak, so we can forget that straight away. So the day return is £8. So 104 multiplied by £8, that comes to 832. So I'll just do an arrow to say that that is the day return. He could get a weekly ticket, so 26 times by 29.60 comes to £710.40. Or he could get a monthly, which would be 6 multiplied by 113.70, and that comes to 682.20. Or he could get a 1 year, which is 1184. Okay, so the 1 year, that's definitely not worth it. So what's cheapest? It's 682.20, so it's the monthly. Perfect, and as long as these calculations are perhaps down here, then we are absolutely fine. Okay, so question number 14. Okay, so what we need to do is we are going to work out the mean number of days sick. So here, how many employees do we have? We've got 5, 10, 15, 20. Here we've got 5, 10, 15. So to work out the mean, it's going to be the total number of sick days divided by the number of employees. So what we literally have to do is add all of these values together. You might want to just do a total per row and then add up the rows, or if you're adding all of them in one big hit, I'll probably do it twice to make sure you get the same answer. But if you add all of those values up, you should get 180. So before the changes, let's just make a note that this is before. So it's 180 divided by the 20 employees, which is 9 sick days per person. And after, it's again we just need to add up all of these values here. That's 105, and 105 divided by 15 is 7. So did the changes make any difference to the average number of days? Well, the decision is yes. The mean went down from 9 to 7. There we go. Perfect. Okay, question number 15. So we're only interested in the number of cold drinks, so we can ignore number of hot drinks. Okay, so we need to first of all plot this on the graph. So I would do temperature on the horizontal here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 30. Is it 13? 13 lines. Okay. And we want to go from, right, what's the maximum and the minimum? So the maximum looks like it's 23 and the minimum is 17, so not a very big range. So I'm going to put at the end here 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. Okay, and this is, what was that again? That was temperature in degrees Celsius. Okay, so up the side, that means I need number of drinks sold. So number of cold drinks sold. And here we've got, I'll just count the major lines. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so 12 plus that one is 13. And we are going from up to 40, and I believe the lowest should be 24. So if we're going from 24 up to 40, then we've got 13 lines. How are we going to do that? Okay, let's just, so we're starting, well, you can't go up in ones, that won't be enough. So in fact, even if we go up in twos, that won't be enough either. So we start, so let me just make a note of that. So we're going 24 to 40, 24 minimum 40. So 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40. Yeah, we'll have to do that, otherwise we're going to get a bit of wasted space really. So let's start off here with, let's just do 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, and I'll just put a 42 on the top there. Okay, so we need to plot all of these, so we're going to be doing a lot of up and down. So 17, 24, so 17, 24, nice and easy. Then we've got 18, 26, 18, 26. So I've done those two. 17, 25. So it's halfway between 24 and 26. Okay, I'm going to do all the 19s together. 19 and a 30, 27 and 29. So on 19, 27, 29, 30. So 27, 29, 30. So I'm going to speed things up a little bit if I do them in little clumps. So for 20s, I've got a 32, 28. 32 and a 28. I had a couple other 20s I've noticed as well, and a 30 and a 34. 30, 34, and finally that last value, 22, 35. So 22, 35, actually there was one other value that was circled that hasn't been plotted though, 23 and 40, okay. 23 and the maximum of 40. There we go. Right, okay, so all the data has been plotted. Okay. So what do we need to do now? It says here the weather forecast for next week says it will be 21 degrees on Monday. What can you tell the cafe owner about how many cold drinks the cafe is likely to sell? Okay, so what we need to do here is draw in a line of best fit. So let's get, so using a pencil and ruler, you're going to be drawing a line that cuts through the center of this data so that you've got more or less an equal number of dots either side of the line. Now, if I ask 5 students to do this, I might get 5 different lines of best fit, but they might all be perfect. Now, so this would be a terrible line of best fit because all the dots are above. This would be terrible because all the dots are below. This is still not very good, but getting better as I go pretty much through there like so. That's more than fine. Okay, So yours might not be 100% the same, doesn't mean it's wrong. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to go up from 21 degrees to predict the number of drinks sold, which to me looks like it's 2 lines up from this major line here. Again, you'd use a ruler. So this is how you get the marks, showing that how to use a line of best fit in order to get a value. So it's between 32 and 34. It looks like it's slightly nearer 32 than 34. So it would be a bit stupid to say it's 32.8 when I could just say it's 33, because I think the number of drinks sold should be a whole number. So here I would go for 33 cold drinks. And that takes us to the end of section 2.